Welcome to this week's episode of the Walt Weekly, and we're going to talk about economics today, and we're going to propose some hypotheticals around the Black American Investment Fund. Reparations and how they should be directed, acquisitions of corporations, wherein we can take the lead on how we want our corporation to look in terms of diversity. If we own a corporation, we can make hiring and firing decisions based on that. However, we want the best and brightest employees to work. We don't want any slippage in corporate goals and strategies. We still want to earn more quarter over quarter, year over year. We do want the best and brightest. Each Black American can contribute at least $1. If you don't have it, you don't have it, but $5 is preferable. We need to form an investment council. And the thing is, to vet the right people is the challenge. And I need for you to suggest, how do we go about setting up an investment council to run the Black American Investment Fund? All right. I know about startups. All right. I know that we got people that are individually doing venture capitalism, but we want to acquire existing Fortune 500 companies. All right, we want to take over a majority position in these companies where we can dictate at the board level how we want that company to look. As with any investment, there are risks. But I believe that these are minimal risks that we can take. So that's just something that I want us to think about. As we all know, wealth is power. And power translates into wealth. It's just like money draws money. That's what we want. And we don't want it, we've already started from scratch. You can't start any further back than being able to read and write being illegal. You can't go any further down than that. And we survived that. And we're pushing through. I think we're the strongest people in this country based on what we've gone through. Look at our history. So I think we should push reparations as another means of funding the Black American Investment Fund or the Black American Fund. The councils or the chairman or the investment advisors making decisions on who to acquire versus whether to buy or sell or take a company private or what IPOs we should be looking at, or potential IPOs. But I think, as I said, I think we should look at looking at their balance sheet and investments, or don't follow the markets, debt to equity ratio. So I don't profess to be a market expert, but I do look at it from a common sense perspective. And that's what I'm trying to share as food for thought for this week with you guys. And try to come up with solutions around this problem. I think that we don't want to go to some of the existing investment firms or hedge funds, but we want to look at maybe pulling some of the best and brightest out of those companies. If we can, I think that's something that we should do. But I'm looking to hear from you guys on this because I think it's critical that we start changing our mindsets and turning our back on Wall Street and things of that nature. And there are companies out there ripe for picking right now. I'll give you an example. Citibank was, during the recession, the Great Recession, the Citibank stock had dropped below $5 a share on the Dow. At least your share price should be at least $5. If it drops below $5, you get kicked off. So we should look at some companies on that on the Dow, along with some companies on NASDAQ. And don't forget, we still want to keep our eye on potential startups and maybe take an equity, a major position, ownership position, which is over 51%. So I think that's a route that we can take as a group. I mentioned earlier, this group have more power in numbers, more power in cohesion, and being able to look at the system for what it is with our objectives on the table that will be met. We have to have a strategy, and we have to have tactics on how we're going to work. But that's generally the tactical part will come with the investment council that we hope to put together. But how do we put it together? I think that we're going to have some additional shows where we try to drill down to milestones on how we can do this. But I think it's time that we start thinking about it. I know it's time, otherwise it wouldn't be the subject of the show this week. But we have to start thinking about it, guys, and then started setting some goals, some milestones on how to get there. All right. I would like to hear from you on whether you think this is a good idea. Going back to Citibank, when it dropped below $5, I had to buy. I bought below $5, but I had to sell because I lost my job during the recession too. So I had to start using my 401k and things of that nature. So, but look at Citibank now. It closed at $47 a share. It was almost up to $80 a share. So you can imagine if we could have bought Citibank out at $5 a share. There are more companies out there like that. For instance, I think that we can move GE. I think that we can acquire GE right now. All right. And the highs of GE used to be over $37 to $40 a share. All right. I'm not trying to give you investment advice. I'm looking at it from a group perspective. Group think. That's what I am looking at. That's what I'm hearing in my mind. Group think. We have to come together on something, guys. So let's come together and make some money. Let's get some paper. All right? And that's outside the entertainment arena, outside the sports arena. No, we don't need it. We can use our logic, our minds to make money. We do it every day. We do it all the time. We do it to survive. We're very strong. We're very smart. We just got to leverage what we have and bring it to bear on our environment. That's what we have to do, depending on your feedback, But I am going to try to reach out to guys with expertise in investments that are certified, honest brokers, and then try to come back to you with some solutions to our problems. I think that we should have elections, to be perfectly honest, elections for the Black American Finance Council. That's what I think we should have. I like that even better. The Black American Finance Council that will represent black folks in this country. And black folks in this country can put in $5 each on a rolling basis, because the more capital we have, the more we can bid. If we get into a bidding situation in our portfolio, that whatever we set our sights on, if the word hits the street, the price is going to go up anyway. Because there are a lot of people out there that do not want black Americans to own GE, Boeing, or Coca-Cola, for that matter. Those are just examples. So let's look at that as a jump-off point, and we'll take it from there. And I'll see you next week. Have a good one. Please visit our website, thewaltweekly.podbean.com. Our Twitter handle is @WaltWeekly. You can also find us on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. If you do a search on YouTube, you do the Walt Weekly Podcast. Thanks again and have a good week.